For the quadratic equation, I'm going to erase most of the work we've done. I want to keep the graph up though so we can see how we still get the same graph. Okay. So looking at this, we know the quadratic equation is x equals negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, where if we have our quadratic multiplied out, the coefficient on the squared term is the a, the coefficient on the first power term is the b, and our constant is c. So we have a equals 1, b equals 4, and c equals negative 12. Plugging these values in, we get x equals negative 4 over 2 times 1 plus or minus the square root of 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 12 all over 2 times 1. We get negative 2 plus or minus 4 squared is 16. 4 times 12 is 48. 16 plus 48 is going to give us 64. So we get plus or minus the square root of 64 over 2. Notice 64 is a perfect square. So we get x equals negative 2 plus or minus 8 over 2. X equals negative 2 plus or minus 4. This negative 2 is actually representing where the line of symmetry is located. And we notice we still have this line of symmetry at x equals negative 2. The plus or minus 4 is the distance of the roots from the line of symmetry. So we notice that negative 2 and positive 2 are 4 units away from each other. And we have the same thing with negative 2 and negative 6. So if we have the quadratic equation, we can plot our line of symmetry, and then we can plot our two roots by going 4 to the right and 4 to the left of this line of symmetry. We can then use the same process we did with factoring. Since our line of symmetry is at negative 2, that's where our vertex is located. Plug in negative 2 for x. We can then solve for f of negative 2 and find that that again does equal negative 16, so that is where our vertex is. And in this case, it's a minimum. Okay, those are the two possible approaches if you're going to graph a parabola or a quadratic function based on its roots. Remember, roots are your x or your horizontal intercepts. We can then use another method called completing the square. So we're going to look at the same exact function, f of x equals x squared plus 4x minus 12. Take a moment and complete the square for this function. When you're ready, resume the video and we'll see what graphing a completed the square quadratic looks like.